Welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow. You're watching this brand new season, the 11th edition of the show with me, Sunanda Jayaseelan, joining us to talk about what are the big ideas for New India. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the field of education here at the Symbiosis University campus in Pune, a sprawling campus that showcases the finest when it comes to innovation, infrastructure, and energy. I'm talking to none other than the Pro-Chancellor of the Symbiosis University on what the big ideas are in the field of education, G20, the national education policy, and just so much more. Listen in.
India is on the cusp of becoming a superpower, and the quality of education imparted will be crucial in shaping its future. With enrollment numbers seeing an uptick, India now has the highest number of school-going children and the second highest number of students enrolled in higher educational institutions. The number of higher educational institutions has increased almost fourfold since 2001. Digitization has helped us become the second largest market for e-learning, and our education market is touted to reach $225 billion by 2025, while the edtech market is expected to be valued at $30 billion by 2031. Budget 2023 has allocated 1.12 lakh crores for the education sector, and the proposal for setting up new centers of excellence for AI paves the way for the country's exponential rise. Joining us today is the Pro-Chancellor of Symbiosis International University, Dr. Vidya Yeravdekar, and she edifies us on India's education landscape over the last 25 years.
So good having you with us here and for hosting us here on this beautiful 400-acre campus in Pune. Talking about the big idea for India when it comes to the field of education. So thank you so much for taking the time first off. I want to talk about the big picture when it comes to education and ask you if there was that one idea that you want to flag off for our entrepreneurs and viewers to say, you know, we're talking NEP, we're talking digitization, we're talking a whole host of things, but that one idea that you want to pick on to say, this is what you should keep your eye on. This is what is going to transform India in the field of education. What do you want to say?
Oh yes, of course, the whole education scenario in India is changing, and I would say we are in exciting times. In fact, students are in exciting times, and there's so much of innovation all around, and therefore if you look at entrepreneurship, you know, that's the buzzword now, and innovation is the next buzzword for India. So if I really look at it, since the time I'm into education, and more specifically higher education, since the last, I would say, 25 years, things have changed so much over the last 25 years, from a system that was just driven by regulatory mechanisms to a system that is far more autonomous, a system that defined a class of people going to a class of institutions, to, of course, more focus on quality research and, of course, employment. And from something that was a placement-driven institution, all business schools that really were driven by the pay packages, jobs they got through and so on, to more now on entrepreneurship and innovation and startups and incubators on campus. So I think that's the big shift in education that you see.
Sure. So you've been associated with the field of education for 25 years, but this place, for instance, Symbiosis International University, Symbiosis University recently completed 52 years. Congratulations on that. And the reason I bring it up is that you as an institution have been deeply ingrained in the field of education in the country. And my question to you is, NEP is a game changer when it comes to education. Just, you know, walk us through the changes and how hopeful you are to really see these changes in the country.
In 2020, the NEP was launched, and it was very, very exciting for all of us to be, because even as a chair of FICCI Higher Education Committee, you know, all the inputs that we gave individually, collectively, through organizations like FICCI, you know, we see those in the policy document, and therefore I think NEP is a policy that belongs to all of us. So I think that's the biggest takeaway of NEP. So I think with NEP, with G20, you know, you will see a sea change in education. When it comes to NEP, I think the focus on multidisciplinary education, I think that's the biggest takeaway of this new policy, because earlier, you had these compartmentalization of education, you had engineering, education which worked in silos, and then medical and others.
How do you see the world becoming a better place to education?
See, I think it's, as I said earlier, that employability is important. Creating a global human resource is equally important, and India stands at a cusp where we are providing a global human resource for the world, not just by educating foreign students, but even in educating Indian students who are working abroad.
Sure.
So that's one part of it. But I think the more larger picture is when these G20 countries come together and we discuss about how we make this world a better place. There, I think we'll focus more on how the SDGs can be met with through education. Sure. I mean, you teach these young students about sustainability, about climate change, about just working together through collaboration and cooperation. So I think education is far beyond just skills and training. It's more character building, and I think that is what we will bring in.
Sure. Since you were saying employability, one of the things that the NEP is trying to focus on, of course, is the foundational years, the 5-3-3-4 formula. Do you think the stress on employability and the ultimate goal, if I can call it that, of education now, which is whether you can find that job, do you think that is sort of going to move and it's going to become more holistic?
Yes, of course. I mean, first of all, they've changed the school education system from a 10+2 to a 5+3+3+4. Yeah. Again, giving more stress on foundation building. So, again, a focus on character building there. So they're also saying that the first 5 years, when it was just kindergarten and then starting off with the first standard with, again, rote learning, they've just done away with, and they say that 5 years, let them all spend together as young children, because early childhood education is very important, so that those are those first 5 years, which are the foundation years. Then you have the next 3 years as preparatory. Then, of course, the middle school. And again, they've clubbed the 4 years, 9, 10th, 11th, 12th into the high school. Sure. And that's when probably they will give flavors of skills and employability, at that point in time where they're preparing students to pick up their careers. And then, of course, through the next, the career path into college life, it is again a 4-year against a 3-year. I think that's the best part. So, with this conviction, I can say that this is the best thing that has happened to undergraduate education, where we've moved from 3 years to 4 years with a focus on research, because young minds can also do research. It's not just when you, do research at the PhD level. Sure. So, because I think research should start in school education, why even go to undergrad?
I just want to discuss the role of technology when it comes to learning today. Lots of challenges. I know, reports talking about how now it's becoming so AI driven. You don't know where the students' work starts and where the role of technology has come in. But just the overarching view that you have about how education can be integrated with technology.
For teachers, it's going to be far more challenging to, understand what this whole AI in education is all about and evaluate students. So I think evaluation patterns will certainly change. Sure. And they will have to. It's almost like an open book exam that people thought it was so easy to give. But when you look at a paper for an open book exam, it's harder than what anyways otherwise an evaluation system would be. And therefore, I think things in the education system will have to change. Teachers will have to unlearn and relearn. It is going to be challenging for teachers.
How do we really see more innovation in the field of education? I know everyone will talk about NEP, but if you look at readability skills, look at things like the international PISA score and where India really ranks on that, we still have a long way to go.
So actually one is innovation in education, and I think technology has helped us to innovate in education. So, the masses that we really could not reach out to, now it's much easier for us to reach out through using technology. So, digital skills are very important. So as much as we would like to impart education by using technology, you need those students to be digitally literate. And that's where, the literacy comes in from. The other aspect is innovation in the minds. I mean, how do you make students innovate and think differently and look at a problem through a different angle to find a solution to any problem? So I think it's about exposing these young students to various problems in the society. That's very important. See, many of the B schools, expose students only to the corporate world. Yeah. I think Symbiosis, it's a little different. While we've adopted these 22 villages, we do expose our engineering, management, nutrition, health sciences and other disciplines students to the needs of the local society and the local community that they live in. in. That's where they're going to innovatively find solutions. So that's one thing. The setting up of the Symbiosis Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, an incubator on the campus, and many universities have done that. So, what students require is, I can have a great idea, I have a problem statement, I've created something, but I don't have the wherewithal through people who can guide me, and maybe I don't have the funds. So here is an incubator which presently has incubated about 40 startups, and we do fund them, we do mentoring through our alumni, through our faculty. So that has been our contribution to innovation. The second is interdisciplinary education. See, innovation is always at a cusp of two disciplines coming together, and I feel that when engineers and doctors come together, that's when innovations will happen. So, and creating of more informal infrastructure, like coffee shops, like spaces where hostel rooms where engineers and medical students can stay together. That's what we've created at the Hill base, and I think that's where in the next few years you will see a lot of technology and health sciences actually merging and innovations happening. So I think your university can carry out all these things on its campuses and bring in this innovation. And see, in India, the biggest advantage I think that India has, and we all are so excited about, is the young talent that we have. I think it's all to do with colleges and universities to train this young talent to think a little differently, to expose them to local problems, and
I'm going to take a quick break on that note. On the other side, we're going to continue talking about the big ideas for a new India specific to the field of education. Back in just a moment. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, where we're talking about the big ideas for New India in the field of education at the Symbiosis University here in Pune. Do you think that employability will change? When you're having this collaboration, we're having this innovation, because even when it comes to employability, the students who are coming out of colleges today, well-established reports showing that employability is still very low.
So I think employability is low because I would blame the colleges and universities from where the students come out from. You have 4 years where you can actually train that individual. You have the opportunity to collaborate with industry. You can actually bring in industry as your partner, where people from the industry can actually frame their syllabus and curriculum, our syllabus and curriculum, and that's what we do. We have people from the industry sitting on our board of studies, on our academic council, even on the board of management. So unless you integrate the industry needs to what you're imparting, doesn't make any sense. See, nowadays certification and degrees will hold no importance. This is my personal opinion. I think the capabilities and skills and your attitude and aptitude is going to be more important for anybody to hire you. Today, even in the education sector, I feel that the moment you pass out of a PhD, you're put in a class as an assistant professor. Do you really have the skills and and have you learned the science of teaching? So whereas I would rather have a passionate person from the industry who would bring in the experiments of the industry or the experience from the industry into the classroom. That's more exciting for the student. And I'm very glad that University Grants Commission has come up with this concept of professor of practice, which otherwise was not there. And it was very difficult for us to bring in people from the industry, though we would bring in, but they would come in as visiting faculty and guest faculty. Now we can actually give them a title because they also want to be associated with academic institutions. They want to be with youngsters. And I think the knowledge that they will bring in will be far different from what, just teachers who have just done their PhD would bring in.
Sure. For someone who's watching this interview, who's an entrepreneur, perhaps looking at the field of education, what advice would you want to leave them with?
I think entrepreneurship spirit and capabilities is something that we need to build in, and it's there in every individual. It's only when you look at issues and problems in, through a different lens that you will think of finding a solution for. entrepreneurship gives you enough and more satisfaction. I think Dr. Muzumdar has been an entrepreneur and an idol for me, having created this magnificent institution when he was just a teacher of botany in a college. He could have enjoyed his pension, after his retirement, but he wanted to do something different. He felt the need for foreign students, of what foreign students had, and set up this institution. I mean, if someone like this, him could do it 52 years ago, now the ecosystem in India is fantastic. So I don't think why people should not, think of entrepreneurship and also look at how they can create jobs for so many others, So I see things changing. I also see, students, and we did one study. We also looked at how many of our students, after getting placed, enjoy the jobs that they are in. What I see is that within about 5 years, many of them, I would give you a percentage, close to about 30 to 35% of them have become entrepreneurs, and not necessarily just startups for earning money, but many of them have set up their own NGOs. So, social entrepreneurship has also come in a big way. So, we do see this shift of what they were focusing on, of employability and placements, to starting their own companies. So, and through our MBA in Innovation and Entrepreneurship program, I think this university has a huge focus on entrepreneurship.
So you were talking about how, you're excited for the interaction between the students who are studying science and the students who are studying engineering, and why it's essential really for those to come about. Can you elaborate a little more on that?
Oh, yes, I think consciously we've created the Symbiosis Arogya Dham, so as on one side we have the engineering school and the School of Biological Sciences, and on the other we have all the health sciences institutions, which are the medical, nursing, medical technology, public health, hospital administration, and so on. So the whole idea is to bring in minds of engineering and medical or health sciences people together. We also have an incubator at the foothills on the same campus where, as I said, 40 companies have been incubated. So eventually this whole 80 acres of campus will be a health science technology park of Symbiosis International University. So imagine when you drive up, into the university campus, you will see this whole 80-acre health science technology park where you have companies in health tech and other areas incubated, so startups there. You have a huge medical school with a large 900-bedded hospital. You have the engineering school. We have very high-end research centers in nanoscience, nanotechnology, medical image analysis, artificial intelligence, applied artificial intelligence, behavioral sciences. Again, an integration of technology and health sciences. These research centers focus more on healthcare and providing solutions to healthcare related problems through the lens of engineering and technology. And the next step, in the direction of the Arogya Dham is to create an integrated medicine center. So, these three pathies are working in silos, and today the law also doesn't allow them to allow an allopathic doctor to practice Ayurveda and homeopathy. Sure. But we felt that can we not give knowledge to our young medicos who have joined, the girls who joined the medical school, while they learn allopathy, can they also have the knowledge of, alternative systems, not just homeopathy and Ayurveda, but, our traditional Indian medicine systems are in plenty. So that is the exposure that we want to give them. Second aspect I would also like to focus, Sunanda ji, is on sustainability and how you can inculcate sustainability amongst young students, amongst the minds of young students. Is, look at this beautiful campus, it just recently received the Swiss government 2000 watt smart city. And I think all universities in India must do this, while you're constructing a campus, you spoke about beautiful infrastructure. Yeah. It's not just about the beauty. If you see, we've used bricks that were made out of the same earth that was, dug, the same soil. We do a lot of rainwater harvesting. We have two big bandharas, the Pazar Talavs, where water is stored. So in any kind of crisis, we will have 30 crores liters of water available for our students. Our students not only plant trees, but also maintain them while they're there with us. So several things a university campus can do to inculcate sustainability amongst these young minds. Because I believe that education is not in classrooms alone. There's so much that students can learn outside of classrooms, and it is for colleges and universities to make these students learn beyond classrooms. The second is health and wellness. So this is a health promoting university. So any student of Symbiosis, you will see either is going to the gym, does yoga, or does some kind of sport through physical activity. So it's almost a compulsion. I wouldn't say compulsion, but we've created an infrastructure in a way where they feel like,
nothing else, you just walk up and down the campus.
So and we, in fact, we even monitor the number of students who come to the gym. We do a lot of awareness programs. We have a healthy and happy campus. So, they suddenly made to dance and, sing to the, tune. So we actually have created this as a health promoting campus. We don't allow them to use vehicles. Either they cycle from their hostel rooms to the academic block, or they walk.
One thing that I definitely want to go into, and I feel it's a much larger topic, but we can perhaps discuss it very briefly now, is online education. One, has the damage, if I can call it that, especially on primary education because of online learning forced during the pandemic, has that in some sense been undone? And what's the future really of online learning, that sort of hybrid mode that we are talking about? Can you expand on that?
So actually in school education, I don't see much of a role of online learning, but yes, they were forced to do it, so they did it. But teachers have now started using smart boards in classrooms, at least in our schools, and they've got used to using technology in classrooms. So it's face to face, but a lot of use of technology, which didn't happen earlier. In higher education, I think it's been an advantage, because now we've moved into blended and hybrid learning. So teachers from across the world can teach in a class. I mean, when you talk about internationalization of higher education, you want teachers from across the world to, teach a student sitting in India, or we also do co-teaching, where a teacher is from somewhere, another Indian teacher from our university, and students virtually sitting from, different parts of the world in the same virtual classroom, which is called collaborative online international learning. Now, all these things couldn't have ever happened if we were not forced to, So internationalization has seen a different, paradigm totally. You see a lot of foreign teachers teaching in Indian classrooms, and even Indian teachers teaching in foreign classrooms. You have a lot of foreign students virtually sitting, doing virtual internships, so a lot has helped us. Now coming to the degree programs, the online degree programs, yes, EdTech has grown phenomenally, you have seen it. A lot of EdTech companies have come in. I would only be a little wary about the quality. The quality aspect, and I think the University Grants Commission is looking at it. But for universities like ours, or those who are in category 1 with a very high NAAC score, accreditation score, we are allowed, not only allowed, we are encouraged to do online degree programs. So Symbiosis has recently launched through the Symbiosis School of Open and Digital Learning, full-time degree online programs, because we have a lot of working professionals, we have housewives who want to do it, we have a lot of international students who can't travel because of affordability, and we can offer these programs to them. Sure. We are selected by the Ministry of External Affairs also to launch online programs for Africa, because now India is looking at building capacity in Africa through education. So, universities like ours now are contributing to this part of, the soft power, of the MEA as well.
Sure. Thank you so much for hosting us here at this lovely campus, and it's indeed been great to pick your brains on the big idea for India when it comes to education.
Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
We're out of time on tonight's conversation. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our contact details on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.